Not a hero we see a lot of, but in specific situations it can be really good.
I can never tell if the crowd is cheering for a pick or if they're cheering for themselves being on screen right there.
Maybe a little bit of both.
Some people just like to cheer, you know? I respect it.
Is that you, Jenkins?
Oh, we got the wave going on. That's hype. All right, last pick here. Liquid, they need a mid laner. Same situation as last game. They don't know if DK is going mid. Nisha, no matter what, will be getting counterpicked, but Nisha's been so good this tournament when getting counterpicked.
It seems like a good team the game, right? But
Nisha?
you don't know your matchup. That's like the only thing with the hero right now.
Yeah, I agree the Timber looks good, but Nisha's looked really good on these pucks and Queen of Pains, these type of heroes where he just plays the map so well with them. That even if he loses his lane, he somehow always finds a way to get farm and have impact in the game.
Yeah, Puck would definitely be an interesting one here because on one hand, I do feel like, you know, there's the DK stun into Mirana arrow. There's like good disable for the Puck, but there's also Drinking Buddies, which is going to be able to pull the Puck out of any sort of like single target. This is why I think the Tusk is such an excellent pick here. Gaimin has a lot of like easy to execute stun combos, but Drinking Buddies will disrupt a lot of that.
And if you go Puck,
they're going Puck.
They're going Puck.
I mean, if you go Puck, the DK just goes mid, right? And you pick another carry.
But I don't think they care. Like, Nisha's lost his lane like every single game in this tournament, and he just owns. Somehow he just gets owned in lane and just goes beyond godlike by the end of the game. And like, at this point, I'm not even using my brain anymore to be like, what's the best possible pick? I'm thinking, what's the best possible pick just for Nisha, regardless of anything else? Because he's proven that even if he gets owned in lane, he'll find his way back into the game and deliver.
Yeah, this time around, Liquid has a very, very fast draft, you know, with the Visage, Puck. And those heroes don't really need a lot of items, they just need a couple of levels. And Wind Ranger is the one that also doesn't really mind, you know, joining the early fights, you know. Even if Wind Ranger is not ready with her items, if Visage and Puck are strong, she can come to the fights. And looking at what Gaimin has, they kind of don't really have much to fight in the early game outside this primal, you know. So they need something that can actually hold their whole draft together right now. Something that can maybe deal with the early aggression from Liquid here. I mean, if they put the DK mid, it means they're going to try to win the lanes and hopefully by winning the lanes, slow down Liquid. Because this Puck is going to be very, very annoying to deal with SD and Mirana. You don't really have the right tools to kind of lock the Puck down.
I'm noticing that Monkey King is still in the pool. I see the reserve time is ticking down, so we are going to get our answer very soon as to where they want to put it.
Okay, mid DK then.
Yeah, they're going to make that shift for themselves. Is it exactly what you were just talking about, Winter, enough to starve off Liquid's early game?
I'm not so sure though, because Muerta is a very, very, very slow hero, and with this switch up, they are kind of gambling on the fact that the DK would win the lane hard enough that would buy enough time for the Muerta to come online. And I'm not so sure if I like that after seeing, like Fia mentioned, Nisha always loses his lane, but he still is going to be able to find a way to come back into the game and be very useful with the lineup. They have a very scary timing with the Puck, Visage, landing their spells and destroying everyone. And if you don't have time to farm as Muerta, you can never come to the fight.
Fear, as a Muerta enjoyer, you said she's your favorite hero the other day. How is the Wind Ranger Muerta matchup in Dota right now?
I mean, I think Muerta does well versus Wind Ranger because you can deal with that, but at the same time, you also don't like playing versus Wind Ranger because you can't really hit the Wind
They
Ranger.
both evade.
Yeah, they do, but I will say, like, this draft that Gaimin Gladiators has concocted looks like a 40-plus minute draft to me to come online for the Muerta to get strong. Gaimin haven't won a game past 40 minutes yet this tournament here, so they're really shifting their style. This isn't the Aura type of strategy we usually see them play to dominate and play for the mid-game timing. They're playing more for late game here. I'm worried that Liquid has them a little shook.
Okay, well, it feels like two for the side of Liquid. Jenkins, do you want to give some hope to the gaming fans in this draft?
They do have hard heroes to run into, I will say. DK, Primal, there isn't a Doom to kill these heroes in the game. If they can have these solid lanes and transition it to a good early game, then they're going to be fine. They'll go to late game.
Okay, we'll see if Gaimin Gladiators are able to go to late game. But first, we're going to head on down stage to Tsunami.
Thank you very much. I'm joined by CY of the Gaimin Gladiators. where you guys always make these deep runs in brackets, but I feel that oftentimes people don't see how difficult your early journeys are. I'll talk to Tofu, or I'll talk to Quinn. Day one of group stage, they're like, oh my god, we're so bad right now. It's so garbage. And then you end up getting grand finals every single time. So what are you most proud about for your team from day one of Road to TI to here?
Altså, jeg er mest stolt af, at vi altid formår at tage os sammen, når det virkelig gælder. Vi spiller altid dårligt i starten af turneringen, og så senere så tager vi os egentlig sammen, og så jeg tror måske, der er en spiller på vores hold, der er svært at tage det seriøst nogle gange, især i scrims. Så når vi endelig tager os sammen, så spiller vi rent faktisk godt.
Scrims, yes, of course. I totally agree. And now how about this final matchup? Because you guys were taking down the reserve time, Muerta versus Windranger. What are your thoughts?
Altså, Muerta burde være rimelig decent, fordi at, hun har sin uld på, og så kan hun jo ikke rigtig whirlwind hende eller noget. Så det tænker jeg er rimelig nice for hende. Altså, de interagerer ikke så meget med hinanden, for hun har også windrun, så det er svært at skyde hende. Men altså, det er bare to turret range carries, som er rimelig stærke lige nu i den her meta. Så.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Tak! CUI, best of luck in this game number 2.
Thank you so much, Tsunami and Royal Arena. Y'all look beautiful out there doing the wave earlier. Lyrical here, subbing in for Sunsfane. He's a little bit under the weather, but I do have somebody with me as well that can translate everything that was just said. Cinderin, what did that interview say?
Yeah, it's interesting to get a second job that you weren't hired for out of nowhere. Well, effectively, he said that the Muerta versus Windranger matchup is interesting because Muerta can, avoid Windranger's whirlwind when she's using it because you turn into the ghost form with your Pierce the Veil. And then before that, he said, well, the reason our starts to the tournaments early on can go a little bit poorly is that maybe we have a player. He didn't name any names specifically, but he was like, we have one player who sometimes struggles to take scrims seriously, but then when it really counts, we really pull it together and bring our A game. So maybe that's why some of the earlier stages of tournaments aren't going so well. But yeah, I mean, this is a clutch team, right? When it's crunch time, they just get it done most of the time. And well, now it really is crunch time. You're down 0-1. Your first game did not go according to plan. And as the panel pointed out, this is a rather unusual Gaimin Gladiators approach to a draft in this tournament. So I think it will be really inspiring to see if they start playing slower and win a late game.
Right.
Dare I say. But Liquid have some of their absolute ace heroes here. 33 on the Visage. They've got the Windranger again. Nisha's Puck has been ridiculous this tournament as well.
As the crowd appreciating your voice line yet again, hearing that one coming out. No, I agree with you. The Nisha Puck has looked so good, and that is going to be the interesting thing to watch. Has it been a situation where now Gaimin are willing to take up and change their style a little bit, or have they been fully pressured into it? We're just going to wait for the outcome, and then we'll draw deductions from there, because that's how that works. But regardless,
you can't be wrong if you let things happen first and then say, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, that's what I meant all along, absolutely. Yeah, but we'll keep our eyes across all of these various different lanes. And that's the thing, too, is like everybody, when they think of Gaimin Gladiators, they're thinking about all of these big aura heroes making moves around the map. Ace playing on this Primal Beast. I'm curious to see what he goes for on this one, because he oftentimes is that engine that this entire rest of the draft just sort of plays around. How do you think he's going to play this game?
First of all, I want to say, make no mistake, this is one of his best heroes. We just haven't seen Gaimin play that style very much. But there have been games earlier earlier this year and especially last year where he was totally carrying on Primal Beast. And it wasn't necessarily taking an aura approach. It was the traditional BKB Ags, be in the middle of fights, do tons of damage and tank the whole world with a Shiva. Could be what they're angling for here, that they feel like, all right, well, our aura strategy didn't really work against Liquid, so now instead we're going to pick heroes that team fight better, and then we're going to itemize around it in a different fashion with probably more focus on BKBs rather than the other auras. But let's see how the early laning stage goes first and what luxury you have the options of buying. I mean, so far so good, especially in mid. Quinn absolutely handing it to Nisha here, 12-7 against the 5-2 on Puck. So this, dare I say, is going worse for Nisha than it did against Sniper the other day, very early on.
Yeah, this is a dangerous matchup, even later on into the game too, right? Not just the laning stage, but blink stun at certain points in time, and then you've got the follow-up coming in from the rest of those heroes. Could just be the death of them as Mickey pressure on him. Well, I get a little bit of help from the Centaur creep there.
That's why they call them neutral creeps. That was just chaotic evil. It just wanted everybody to suffer at the same time, but nobody really reaped the benefits there except everyone watching who got a little cheap laugh out of it. It's like, all things considered, all cores probably not too unhappy here. It's relatively even. Nisha has caught up a little bit now here in mid, but I think you make a good point. In some of the games that we've seen Nisha do incredible things on this puck, he hasn't necessarily... Oh, hang on. Celery's doing a ton of damage to Boxy. That's a 5-stack.
This is getting up there higher and higher.
It's only level 1, though.
I mean, it keeps him back for the moment, but the high 5 shows he was never really that worried about his health in that movement. But yeah, able to also do a nice little shards play over the top and get that bounty rune.
Yeah.
You were saying I said something really smart, though, so you can keep saying that if you want.
I forgot. It doesn't really happen very often. Yeah, so the thing was, it was about the puck matchup in this game, that sometimes puck has these pop-off games when Nisha plays it in particular. But this time, as you mentioned, Dragon Tail into Arrow is a dangerous combination, and you have the Pulverize. Even something like the Calling can actually be quite a big issue for the puck as well. So I think the player to watch in this game, which is the case for many of Liquid's games, will be Boxy. The Tusk is the true combo breaker you have in your lineup on Liquid. I guess Clock can be a little bit of a pseudo by just breaking the fight up with Cogs. But a lot of the time, against a hero like Primal Beast, it's actually a quite interesting matchup that, generally speaking, Clockwork is good against Primal, but once Primal gets the BKB, it can quickly get quite awkward, where you cog into someone, and if Primal's in the cogs as well, he's just trampling them to death inside of those cogs. So, gotta be a little bit careful with your placements, but on paper, very good in the first 20 minutes of the game.
Absolutely. And of course, they were able to sort of block out the nice counter that the Shadow Demon normally is, taking that in the first phase overall.
Yeah.
Could also see, as this game gets later, I wouldn't mind seeing Tofu get back and get some stacks up, because that's the other thing that Primal can really accelerate his farm through and start looking super solid if you want to play more of the stack game. And there you go, Cogs are out, power shot, Ace still feeling very survivable, and he's so low and he goes down. Tofu with the last couple ticks, and he also manages to get out. Oh, he does it! The snipe! Oh, I have never cast or cursed somebody as quickly.
That was actually impressive. You almost willed that kill into existence.
Definitely getting out. Sorry, buddy. Well, now another banish coming. Duraccio, the calling, the silence is out. A little bit of drinking buddies. Make sure that 33 and Boxy will be fine.
Yeah, there are 3 stacks of poison there on 33, but no mana left in the tank for Celery means no chase. But yeah, it was a thing in the draft as well when we were talking about it, or looking at the Shadow Demon pick. The panel was mentioning how multiple supports made it through the pool. And the thing is, you're unlikely to want to grab the Omni Knight when you're playing into the SD. So I think for Gaimin Gladiators' perspective, they were kind of happy to see that first pick where they can just snipe counter it with SD and then also not have to ban Omni. I think that really opened up the draft for them quite nicely to go for this pivot that they have here. Ace will get power shot, big damage. Insania,
slow down.
Can he reach?
He's getting closer. Oh, he went the other way. He tried to block it off, but there was a tree blocking his path. Does have the onslaught, but this is weird.
This is still really good for the side of Liquid. The amount of time Ace has to use to run away here and then TP to base for a refill.
And then they try and set this up. The wraparound coming from Insania. If they can whittle Gaimin down a little bit, they're baiting them out here to the side, snowball forward, and now caught inside the cogs. Do they have enough damage to bring down Celery? Oh, the calling! Stopping that other soul assumption. He finally manages to throw it out, but it's not enough damage.
Oh, so, is Boxy gonna die?
Oh man, this would be huge if they could find that kill.
For a 3v2, that is an awesome outcome for Gaimin. They didn't lose anyone and they almost killed someone off. Insania has to use his healing salve, Boxy's really low and probably has to go back to base. And if both supports are out of the play for a little bit, 33, Visage is very vulnerable when it's playing 1v2. This is a hero that, you know, people will generally remember the phases of Visage just being invincible, but the first few levels on Visage, it is not a tanky hero whatsoever. He will manage to pull these couple of creeps under tower for some safety, but once this wave dies, with no supporting cast to cover him, he has to be careful.
An Ace with the turnaround up on that top lane. They thought they could do something there, but no luck at all. They managed to bring down that Clockwork. Also worth noting, because they saw those supports, Liquid feel comfortable leaving this Wisdom Rune for 33. So they're gonna leave him alone, and then Boxy's gonna TP back out, trying to just get 33 back on the right track.
Yep, going for that Wisdom Rune is gonna cost him 3 creeps in the tower though. Yeah. So. And not only that, now the wave is still back on the enemy side of a lane. So once again, Visage will have to find his way down here alone. Good kill from Liquid.
A little bit too greedy from Ace.
Yeah, probably wasn't expecting that rotation from the Tusk.
One leap charge, and Insania coming in. but not going to be able to force Tofu all the way away. Does secure at least a rune up on the top side. It's going to spawn, and Nisha should be able to get that one. It's a little bit close. Quinn's quick, but no.
33. He gets banished. They probably can't chase this. Chase Tofu, though.
Right.
And
Tofu in trouble. Now the turn, Boxy! Bit off more than he could chew. Nisha's trying to get out with the ace rotation. It looks like they're going to turn their sights on Insania. 33 actually TP's into this. And now they're making the move onto Quinn, keeping him out of tower range. The TP is coming in from Shadow Demon. This is not going to be an easy kill. And in fact, after baiting the TP, now Liquid are going to be the ones that back on out. 33, another round of Soul Assumption, can take down Celery. Yes, it is enough damage. So they lose both of those supports, and now they're bringing even more in. Mickey shows up. Now they take down Ace. Liquid bringing so many numbers, and the one hero that didn't end up making the swell move. Oh, Arrow! Arrow, it comes in! Never mind, Nisha's dead too! Bro, what's happening?
Yeah,
Why are there like 9 heroes mid?
yeah, this is pretty crazy. So this is actually kind of a cascading effect of 33 having to leave bottom. The reason this turns out this way is 33 gave up. The wave was in such a bad placement down bottom against the SD Muerta, and he had no supporting cast there, so he had to leave. So he just started going mid to find some sort of impact, and it turned into this huge fight. Now he's going to die for it too.
Another move underneath the tower. Gaimin Gladiators, not used to being down 1-0 in a series, but they're fighting back good in this one.
This is easily the worst start 33 has had on this hero in this tournament. I think that is the biggest concern for Liquid right now. The score doesn't look too bad, the gold doesn't look too bad. Visage has 21 CS and he's level 5. And that's after taking the Wisdom Rune.
Right.
He's still not 6-minute 10 on a core. So really unheard of here for Liquid. He's now finally going to get his 10 by TPing down here and getting that Flag Bearer last hit. So he will be online. But if they manage to find him again here, that would be a total travesty. Gladiators are thinking about it, but will decide it's not worth it unless, all right, there's a haste. Quinn.
Now ready to make that move around, and eyes already towards the direction where he's going to be. Smoked up, ready to head back. 33. I mean, he's playing as safe as you can possibly be. They got to know about this rotation.
This is
but
such a good read.
Will it stop it from happening? Quinn's still ready to run in, yes. 33, very wise movements.
Yeah. Excellent map awareness there. And as much as we talk about him struggling on the Visage, it's not like Ace is having a great game either. To be fair, both offlaners are really suffering in this individual game. And it's kind of interesting to see in a tournament where offlaners, for the most part, has been doing quite good for themselves in the early game. So we'll see who manages to find the better recovery. Visage, net worth might be a little bit, I don't want to call it inflated, but you know, he will benefit from his facet. If it weren't for that, I think they would be neck and neck on the Visage as well as the Primal.
Well, and of course, that other issue that you run into as this game goes on is going to be, you know, Visage accelerating not just off of the kills, but then also you have better tower taking potential than the Primal does. Should note, they're coming through, and Tofu is right there. And now Mickey doesn't like the look of it as much, so he'll head back through the game. But it definitely feels like Primal is the one that likes to sort of get in there a little bit more in the fights, at least until 33 has those items to stay alive.
Yeah, and he's also opting for the Vanguard as his first purchase here on that Primal. It's an item we don't see particularly much as the first pickup for many heroes. You know, some heroes will get Crimson at some point, but this time it is extra valuable. You're playing against the Visage familiars, you're playing against the Windranger, of course, so Crimson is a complete given. But it's not an item Primal usually buys as his first, but this game is just too good. So as far as the supports go, nobody is really having a particularly standout game in terms of experience, with the exception of Tofu, who... Oh, hang on. That's a good curse right there.
I mean, that
he was having a good game until that. Okay, maybe he's still.
Well,
he's still.
No, he's still.
Thought maybe I had another leap in this pocket, but no. So the reason I was looking at this was all the supports were level 5 except for Tofu, but now Celery will pick up his 6. Clockwork is almost 6, and Boxy is a little bit off. So it does give a slight advantage Gaimin because they have all their spells unlocked to take fights. But with that, death on the Mirana might slow things down a little bit and get them caught up. Tofu in the last game on Mirana was having very little farm. This might have been something they talked about post-game, that they want to build up the Mirana a little bit more than they did.
Right.
And this time around already, he has half the farm that he did last game at 35 minutes. He has it minute 12 in terms of raw CS. And that will, of course, reward him the earlier level 6. Let's see if this move is going to be successful for Gaimin.
They're scanning right now on the gate to see if Wind Ranger went through. They're also going to bring the Shadow Demon through this one. So Mickey, if he does not get a read quickly, this is going to be an easy bring down. And I think with this Blink Dagger reveal, jump forward, stun, there's creeps in the way, he can't get the arrow in time. And so Mickey lands the shackle and gets some separation. Now the hook shot, the turnaround, sometimes farming keeps you alive. As Mickey was not going to get hit by that arrow, and they're also going to bring down this Shadow Demon. Boxy makes the move forward, they give the kill over to 33. I mean, whether lucky or good, Liquid are just winning right there.
Yeah, the timing just wasn't the right one there with the creeps coming in, as you said, blocking off the arrow, so Gaimin couldn't commit fully for that, and that's a really nice turnaround for Liquid. Not only do they keep Wind Ranger alive and find 2 kills, there's some soul assumption action.
Yeah.
Visage just gets that nice bonus gold on the last kill, which is going to propel him into a much better position in the game than prior. Now with this 14-minute wisdom, will Liquid actually make it in time? This is pretty close. I think they're too late.
God, that is a big round of people running forward and gonna find that kill onto Celery. Duraccio just going to back away, realizing that there's a lot of danger coming his direction. Yeah, and I mean, I think the Crimson is an interesting choice. It's something we can talk about here a little bit too, to help try and keep these towers alive a little bit. But honestly, if they bring numbers like that, I don't think Crimson's gonna keep these tier 2s alive, even if they want to keep that pressure on.
No, it's more a matter of, can you have the staying power in fights?
Right.
We've seen plenty of fights with Liquid once they get this Wind Ranger up and running, and together with the Visage, they have to buy this item on the side of Gaimin. So he's the only real candidate who could get it on this Primal Beast, so he'll have to, arguably maybe you could say, sacrifice going for the build that Primals often want to do with the BKB.
Yeah.
He'll get it later. As we've said a couple of times already, Ace's game is just not that great, and that has seemed like a recipe for disaster in a lot of Gaimin's losses. Is when Ace isn't off to a good start, some of the times the tempo just can't really match what they like to look for. Liquid once again in a very comfortable position.
Maybe again with the Crimson and then potentially having like Gleipnir timing on the Duraccio Muerta, there could be something more that they make work at that stage. Liquid already have the Gleipnir completed. It looks like they want to make another go of this. And again, you know, blink stun from Quinn into an arrow. This should be a pretty easy kill on everybody, but the counter move being made by Liquid right now into these Ancients. If Insania finds them, off to the side, there's creeps in the way. Duraccio, does he realize who's nearby? The jump forward, hook shot in. They have the snowball, they have the kill. Liquid just smelling blood in the water and going hunting.
Yeah, are they going to go to try to steal the stack as well? This is kind of slow with just Puck and Clockwork. We'll want to try to also defend. They want to keep everything alive here, bringing the numbers against Ace and the Siege Creep. Can they even stop this push? Maybe yes. The tower will stay alive, but it will be in deny range.
I mean, this is so good too, because they're not showing that there's 2 heroes still over to the
Quinn's
side.
gonna jump him. Instant drinking buddies.
And now they go, trying to find what they can do, and the jump through coming from Ace, control, but immediately broken. Now Mickey goes in with that focus fire. Ace still trying to do what damage he can, but there's just not enough HP on Quinn to go for this fight.
This is the other thing. I was talking about BKB on Primal, but you know, against these heroes, sometimes you also want to get that Blade Mail.
Yeah.
And he can't afford to get everything, so he has to make the team decision here of getting the Crimson. That means once he's in the middle of them, they can freely hit him without any repercussions. So Mickey just doing a full-on whirlwind into his face with the Gleipnir. And Ace cannot sustain that amount of damage just yet on that Primal, so he kind of had to go in for that, otherwise the fight would have been even worse. But once again, really, really nice fights from Liquid. I believe, did they get the deny on the tower? No, Quinn did get the last hit on it.
Okay.
But still.
A tough series of events for the side of Gaimin Gladiators, who are now facing a 4K gold lead for Team Liquid, 6-11, 17 minutes in. And while we keep talking about all these items that seem like they're going to be great, if they don't get to that net worth sort of critical status, Gaimin are just going to be sitting ducks here. I mean, is this the point in time in the game where we start seeing that patented, like, you know, split push style spread out across the map, or do you think there's still ways that Gaimin can fight here?
I think split pushing seems like a very dangerous proposition against the heroes you're facing. Clockwork can get vision with the rockets. You've got Puck, who's one of the best catch heroes on the map, who can combo with seemingly any of the other heroes and find kills on stragglers or random heroes off on their own. I think for Gaimin, you're probably thinking about, let's get this Crimson and try again and get a better angle. And for them, I think the best possible fight is jumping and killing Tusk.
Right.
And then starting the fight and building it around that. But, well, speaking of jump, Nisha has eyes on Ace.
They see him here again. The Wind Ranger moving into position. 2 supports a little bit to the north. Can they get away on Ace? It's going to just go for the TP out, but the snowball comes in time. And again, in the grave. And in fact, it's the Visage that finishes the Crimson Guard first.
He's now ahead of every Radiant hero. Can you believe it? Just these couple of moves where Soul Assumption is involved. And 33's game is completely recovered. They even find Tofu, a little freebie there.
And this is what you're talking about, the dangerous split push. Even without the clockwork, they're finding these pickoffs as they happen. But they have the Crimson Guard done now. Do they decide to get a group up smoke play and fight together?
Do they have enough damage themselves?
Right. Well, maybe an opportunity here if you find the puck with the call. Nisha goes down. Dyrachyo gets the kill. That's what Gaimin Gladiators needed.
That's a really big one. Just something to break the map open a little bit, give you some space to get out. Maybe you can snowball off this slightly by at least getting some vision out in the enemy jungle. Or counter, dewarding something, just, you know, getting a little bit of breathing room, because Liquid have really been running the show for the last 5 to 10 minutes. Seems like Gaimin have been struggling to find any successful move, but that one did work out. This one time Tusk was not near Nisha to cover him.
And Ace, seeing that there's some Lotuses being taken, is going to go for the hunt now. Finding Boxy would be big, and he goes right on through him. Do they have some help nearby? It does look like it, and yeah, immediately going to be a disruption? Okay. Now, Celery there, they'll find this kill onto Boxy. And again, getting out on the map, helping. Now, does Boxy manage to deny out to Roche? Well, he's trying. Does he get a stomp? Maybe a stomp opportunity? No. Ace kills him off.
Couple of kills found for Gaimin now. Mickey is still farming up an absolute storm on this Wind Ranger. Level 16, almost has BKB. Another Dragon Tail.
And
this is a tough one. Not gonna happen.
No chance, and Nisha now shows back up. They're moving in. Power shot, not quite enough. Disruption, Ace moves forward. Crimson Guard mitigating a lot of this damage. Trying to find anybody to jump onto. Dyrachyo trying to stand tall here too, but the magic damage coming through is just a little bit too much, and the hit forward. Quinn not able to save, and now he might be in further trouble as well. And Sadie comes all the way out of nowhere, and the Cogs push back 4 dead. Liquid, they're just looking too good in this series.
Yeah, I mean, in reality, how close has this series really been? This is the upper bracket finals. This is for a grand final slot, and Liquid just seems flat out better today so far in both games. The first game might have looked a little bit closer on gold, but that was against a lineup that was meant to win early. This game, Gaimin Gladiators are meant to play a little bit slower and get towards a close mid-game, but because they don't have that early game aggression that they've been successful with in so many of their games this time around, Liquid are kind of just running the show, and they're the ones taking most of the initiative and making successful moves.
Oh.
So now they are Gaimin, essentially. And what is their backup plan on their side? There's nothing in sight for me that really inspires a lot of confidence that, all right, this item timing for Gaimin is the one to turn things around. Ace is working on a pipe, which is extremely far off. Mirana fell off a cliff after a decent start. Dragonite's working on a pike. I feel like a concern for Gaimin is damage once again, similar to the last game. Do you have what it takes to fight through this now extremely tanky Visage and the team around it? What is your damage really coming from? It's mainly the Muerta, and she needs multiple items before she can reliably stand her ground. We saw her just getting obliterated in previous fights a couple times.
Wow, you can see that win probability right now very much into the favor of Team Liquid, and I think it speaks to just the way that this game has not gone how Gaimin saw it, right? You look at this draft, you think about a DK stun to start the fight, and then the Primal's there this entire time Muerta's hitting, but the reality of the situation has been it's been a lot of sort of awkward little engagements where they haven't been able to have that damage you're talking about of the Muerta because there's no bulk in front of her. But a tough situation, and Liquid wanted to put the screws to them, start pressuring this tier 2 tower while Gaimin just try and get their items.
Oh, they see Quinn when he blink away. Hook shot!
Now he does have a Hurricane Pike. Can he get out of here in time?
Yeah.
looks like he's going to be able to escape before any Quail comes out.
They do force 2 TPs though, and they still get the tower, so this is still a great victory for Liquid. Now that Gaimin port down there, they're losing some efficiency out on the map. Some of the farm that they could have got while just sacking that tower, they feel like they have to help out Quinn.
And of course, an opening here if they want to go for it. Roshan, very much available.
We see again now Mickey going for the same item as last game, that Revenant's Brooch, which I believe you told me just before this game.
Kevin, so.
All right, so Purge told you, who told me, that so the downside to Revenant's Brooch is that whenever it's activated, you lose 50 mana per attack. But Focus Fire, or excuse me, Whirlwind, doesn't work that way.
Right.
It doesn't count as attacks in the same fashion, so effectively you're firing out all of these shots with your Revenant's Brooch at 0 mana cost.
Pretty disgusting. And of course, with an Aegis in hand on Nisha, able to set that stuff up all the more easily. Now there is going to be a pipe, like we talked about, which will be a nice pickup for Gaimin. But the question is, are they going to be in too big of a hole to make it work at that point in time? I mean, the classic answer to this is like, oh, they're not going to be able to go high ground against us. But nobody goes high ground now anyways now. So maybe they will end up doing that right now in Liquid, though.
It is. It is a real possibility that they just try to get it done here and now. I think it's kind of difficult for Gaimin to overwhelmingly win a fight. Maybe they can tie it or, you know, slow them down. But if you're the one taking initiative here, okay, wait, Quinn, onto Insania.
Find one, Nisha's there too. And you can see they don't even feel confident going for it. Clockwork, never an easy kill, but particularly
the tower is gone.
Wait, what?
He got the tower.
Drinking Buddy's Visage. Okay, that's a thing. That's that's a problem. They Drinking Buddy's Visage and the tower died. Oh my god.
Well, it does have 44 health left on it.
Time to deny, maybe? No?
I don't know. Very uncomfortable position here for the side of Gaimin. They really want to get this Muertes BKB so that they can finally just stand in the fight and deliver, but it's still 3,000 gold to go here for the side of Gaimin on Duracho, and how do you get that space on the map? I think Liquid are just going to keep shoving in bottom really aggressively, and if you don't keep sending heroes back to defend, you lose barracks. If you do send heroes back to defend, it's hard to find farm. So if they just keep this aggression up, maybe one hero from Gaimin can try to find something out on the map, but if you put multiple out there, the lane is just over. So,
dude, they're gonna do it again. Look at this bird, how much damage it does. This is insane. This is like the Invoker Brewmaster stuff all over again.
Yep.
Wow, as if it wasn't already strong enough. Now taking, I mean, they're gonna have a Crimson Guard here, but it's basically a full melee rack's done. Unreal.
I don't really have familiars on my list of personal drinking buddies, but apparently they're great when you want to have a party. You just bring these birds and get the job done. All right, melee Rex down, no defense from the side of Gaimin. And once again, I'm looking toward Duracho to somehow salvage this game for Gaimin if they want to have any hope. The pipe from Ace is up somewhat soon, and that is a big deal for mitigating a lot of that damage coming out from the Liquid side. Puck as well as Windranger, largely magic damage.
I mean, that is going to be the question, right? Like, if you're able to mitigate the damage, will Muerta be able to survive long enough to do what they need? Nisha just jumps in and immediately starts to get brought down. He jumped in, he can't get the snowball off. Oh, the calling. Perfect answer to stop that Tusk from saving the puck. Now thinking about going for more. Can they chase down Nisha?
Nice
This is
Gleipnir.
a huge gift if Gaimin can find any more heroes at this point. After burning through the Aegis, they needed something.
Ace really wanted to pulverize there onto Nisha, but not possible. The cast time is too long. Puck, obviously, extremely short cast times. Will get out. They do keep... I mean, under these circumstances, this is already a really good result. Because that was a situation where Liquid, with one more good fight, probably just end the game. So they buy themselves some time, and this effectively will buy them at least one item. The pipe will be completed for the next fight. Mirana's BKB will be completed for the next fight. The Muerta BKB is a possibility for the next fight. He's only 1,500 off it now. So that one mistake, if you want to call it that, from Liquid, opens the door a little bit. They're still in a very, very good position, make no mistake, but it does feel like the types of fights that they've handily won the last 10 minutes are not going to be as guaranteed
Right.
When a couple of items come out on Gaimin, obviously they're still extremely favored, as you can see on the win probability, but a lot of the time that 10% really comes down to, do you have the right items to take the 10% fight or not? And those items are becoming available very soon for Gaimin, so potentially they could stall it out.
Right, and as you know, the panel talked about, as we've said multiple times during this as well, this is a lineup from Liquid that wants to be hitting hard right now. Gaming, we're always trying to buy more time, so anytime you can do that, you're sort of playing into their strategy a little bit more. The question is, are they in too big of a hole at this point where they're no longer able to dig themselves out of it? And we'll have to wait and see. The pipe is done. Also did see a BKB completed on Mirana.
Yep.
So more ways to keep these heroes alive.
And she does deal quite a lot of damage. It's not insignificant how much damage a 4 Mirana deals with just the BKB. You pop the Solar Flare, you get 120 attack speed and damage, and then you just leap in and start killing people. The counterplay that Liquid have isn't 100% reliable against the BKB Mirana, so she will probably be able to output quite a bit more than she has so far in this game. On the side of Liquid, though, what big items do we have coming their way? So the brooch was completed. Puck almost has a Parasma. Unless he wants to complete the Lincolns instead. He's got a little bit of everything, it seems like, right now on Nisha.
Yeah, a bunch of different
Sure,
stuff.
that's what is happening, actually, with his inventory.
Is he going Lincolns?
Yeah, but he doesn't have it in his quick buy. So he bought 2 components for Lincolns, but doesn't have it in quick buy. Now he is going Parasma.
Okay.
This is a little bit odd. It's almost like he changed his mind twice.
Just bought the wrong recipe. It's fine. It happens.
Didn't read the patch notes.
Well, we'll see. The courier now coming out to him. And, of course, the other thing to watch for is we saw that AC coming for... Yeah, he has it on... It was on the backpack of the courier.
He had a dead courier with that much gold in? Oh, my God. Okay. All right, he's a little bit richer than I was expecting. This wasn't even on my radar that he could have the completed Lincolns plus almost the completed Parasma. All right. That is very good news for Liquid. That is so much better than I was thinking. I mean, he is farmed, but man, Witchblade, Parasma, Blink, as well as Lincolns will be completed in just a moment here now, 30 minutes in for Nisha with that dead courier respawning.
I mean, yeah, this is the scary thing, right? You're getting Crimsons, you're getting ACs and all that stuff, but you've got a Revenant's Brooch, you got Parasma. This is a magic damage lineup, and all you got is the pipe.
There it is.
This is a lot.
This is a sick upgrade with how much... If you think of the last fight that just played out, Nisha just got 2 major items leading into the next one. So, yeah, definitely keep a lookout for the puck to ramp up heavily in the coming fights.
BKB from Huerta too, but of course that blink stun from DK won't factor in anymore, but they get the jump on him instead. Misses on the hook shot, and Dyrachyo standing tall. Now Nisha steps forward, knows that there's not much that can kill him. Do they have anything else that they want to throw out right now? There's the shackle shot. They need to keep that Muerta alive. Quinn trying to block damage, but it's not going to happen. Muerta's gone. Ace does not have what it takes to take down the rest of Liquid. They are way too strong, and they bought out for this fight. No buybacks, 4 dead. Liquid, they're ready, they're moving. This game is over.
It's just over.
Unreal.
Well, everybody gets their items, and Liquid say, we're better.
Can they do this now? The snowball onto the creeps. They're going to try and end this game right here and right now. Liquid taking the tier 4 tower down, has to jump away on Tofu. Arrows going down, but look at the Drinking Buddy Visage Birds. They're dropping so quickly. Tier 4s are gone. They're not even going to get to respond. Team Liquid closing this one out. GG!
Wow. I mean, a lot of people going into today would be like, oh no, it's Gaimin versus Liquid again. Gaimin historically are doing really good in this matchup against Liquid. But we did see the stats prior to the series that, you know, in playoff situations, Liquid a lot of the time does quite well against Gaimin. It's mainly the grand finals that have been eluding them. And this one, another playoff match that was just extremely, honestly, very, very one-sided for the side of Liquid. I don't think many people would have expected them to come in slamming this hard, but absolutely no problem for them this time around.
It was one of those moments, too, where you look at the way that the game went on and crowd showing some appreciation for the performance. They have so often faced off against this opponent, and to get the win here has got to feel great. As you can see again, still a lot of smiles, teams that respect each other a whole heck of a lot. And of course, they know that this might not be over. These two squads might be facing off again sometime in the very near future. So they're getting ready to go, and the coach appreciating what he's seen.
And this might be, you know, they might face each other again, but if history is to repeat itself, Liquid are probably hoping that they get to face someone else tomorrow. Because, you know, Grand Final track record has not been the best, but at the same time, maybe they kind of want this rematch. They want to finally be able to break that Grand Finals curse. They will obviously have a shot tomorrow against whichever team it is they end up facing, but today, they definitely look like the best team of the tournament.
Absolutely. Undeniable. This team, having come to TI 3 times in a row, put together a solid squad, and finally on the verge of being crowned champions if they can just win one more best of 5. So we get ready to head on down to the stage.
Hello, Copenhagen! I am here with your first TI Grand Finalist, Boxy.
Hello.
My goodness, I mean, it's looking a little bright here, isn't it, Boxy? Shall we,
It's a little bright.
That's a little bit better. How does this feel, beating your longtime rivals in a 2-0 to secure your first TI Grand Finals? How's that for you?
Feels really good. I think these matches were super fun to play, and both teams put up like a good fight. So I'm really happy to play some good Dota.
I would say so. Good Dota indeed. And of course, you showed us a lot of this game as well. Like even now at this point, you're still showing us new things. The Visage Familiars with the drinking buddies. You know, we also had the Wind Ranger with the Revenant's Brooch. I mean, have you got more in your toolkit to show us?
Probably. I mean, Dota is like a game when there's a million different strategies and small details. And I think when you play it a lot, you pick up on this, like, not broken, but like really nice interactions. And I think that it just kind of comes naturally while playing. It's not like some hidden strategy. It's just like, oh, this is really cool, and this is really cool. And you discover new things every day while playing.
Absolutely, and that comes across in your gameplay as well. And does that come away from the way you guys kind of talk to each other outside of the game as well? You know, when you're practicing and stuff, you know, how much are you talking about Dota over these past few days?
We're just co-workers. When we're done with scrimming, I go back to my room and I don't know.
Those many coaches you guys have available coming into use. Alrighty, well, I mean, I'm imagining you've got a ton of confidence coming into those grand finals now. Is there any worry about overconfidence from you guys at all?
So far, overconfidence has not been a problem for us in the grand finals. Obviously, our track record is a little bit so-and-so, but I would also like to mention that we always come from the losers bracket, and this is our first upper bracket grand finals. So, you know, something new.
Something new, who knows what could happen there. And lastly, are you hoping that Gaimin are going to come up through the lower bracket so you can fight them again now that you know how to beat them? Or are you hoping for a new opponent considering your track record with Gaimin in the past?
I mean, to be honest, I think it would be fun to play a new team in the grand finals, different than Gaimin. I think they're really good, and there's a high chance they will make it there. And it's not because I'm scared of them, because we just beat them. Maybe a little bit this morning, just a little bit. But I think that, for example, Tundra, or some team that we've barely played this season, to have a grand final and have like a new, completely new experience and a new show for the fans would be cool.
Well, either way, I'm sure you're going to put on a hell of a show for us, Boxy. Thank you so much, crowd. Let's hear it one more time for Boxy and Team Liquid. I'm all send it back to the panel.
I'm glad you didn't forget about us there, Nomad. But Boxy, it is so great to hear from him. I mean, he talked about it after their scrims. They're just co-workers. But I know for a fact, there's so many Liquid fans out there. They have their family, their friends as well.